Hola, muy bien. Vamos a ver. Let's see here. I'm going to get my screen adjusted. Hola, hola, Mariana.
Ah, hola, hola.
¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Cuánto tiempo? Oh, I haven't seen you in ages. ¿Cómo estás, Mariana? Bien. Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. Perdón. Muy bien. Hola, Nara. Hola, Lara.
Hola.
Hola. Buenos días a todos. Buenos días a todos. I sent out that extra little email because I thought, this is the odd class because we had to start a week later and people were confused and understandably so. And, yeah. So anyway.
What was the video that was out there in my YouTube? There was one where you had some trouble. I got the last 20 minutes of some class out
Oh,
there
I
from
had
last
to,
week.
yeah, something went blurp on me and I had two recordings that I had to be saved.
But that wasn't from this class,
No, Monday.
I guess.
Monday.
Oh,
Yeah. That Monday session. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Aquí viene Trish. Here comes Trish. Y Jan. Muy bien. Fantastica. We've got a good number of people in. We're going to start pretty soon because we're at 10 o'clock. Sí, son las 10. Y buenos días y bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Welcome to everybody. Espero que ustedes estén bien. Hope everybody's good.
Sí,
¿Sí?
sí,
Bien.
bien.
Fantástico, fantástico. Está nublado hoy. Ay, ¿qué pasó? Wow, what happened? It's cloudy. How did that happen today? Bueno, aquí viene Terry. Here comes Terry. Okay, so we're going to do, since today, and I know I'm kind of off too. It's like, wow, this is first session. I've had first sessions with my other classes, but that's first session nonetheless. So we're going to practice with a few things. Did I send you the futuro de planes thing?
Yes.
Did I? Yeah,
Sí.
I sent you that. Yeah, sí, bien. Yeah, we're going to start with that. Okay. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? What are we going to do? Vamos a practicar con cosas fáciles. We're going to practice with some easy stuff. First class in, we always do some easier things, like not super, super challenging, but gotta be challenging enough you do something, right? We're not going to count to 10 in Spanish. Okay. I'm going to give you a quick show because some people like to bring up two screens on their computer, or some people print stuff off. Whatever it is you do, it's good. Whatever you do is good. But aquí, eso no. I thought I had it. I did not. I lied. Perdón. Perdón. Gotta find my segment here. Let me get off share for a moment. I thought I had my right screen up and my screen shifted around. I've got to go find it again. We're going to be working on just talking about planes. Aquí viene. Here it comes. Let me put that at. So if you use a couple of screens, hablamos de los planes. We're going to talk about plans for what's coming up, right? See, planes. And esto es fácil. It's easy. It's easy stuff. We're going to talk about what we're going to do. So if you need that screen, although I will have it up at the same time, but if you have notes and you wrote some things in on your copy, that's the one to look for. Lo que sí vamos a hacer, what we are going to do, and I got to turn my sound on now. We're going to start with a super tiny vocabulario. We're going to start with a little vocabulary bit, but it is super, super useful. We all know how to talk about fin de semana, weekend, sí, el fin de semana. Or we can shorten that term, el fin de semana, to el fin de. El fin de. There is a slang that people use all the time to say weekend because it's shorter than fin de semana. El fin de. Pero, ¿cómo hablamos de weekday? ¿Cómo hablamos de weekday? ¿Cómo se dice weekday? How do you talk about the days of the week that are not the weekend? So we're going to have a little quickie video on this one here.
Hablando en español y quieres explicar, por ejemplo, tu horario de trabajo y quieres decir que no trabajas los fines de semana.
Yeah, so for example, if you want to say that you don't work weekends, ¿sí?
Solo trabajas los días que no son fin de semana.
Los días que no son fin de semana, the days that are not a weekend. How do you talk about the days that are not the weekend? Okay, aquí viene, here it comes.
¿Cómo lo decimos? ¿Cómo llamamos a esos días que no son el sábado ni el domingo en español? Decimos entre semana.
Entre semana. Entre, solo. Entre by itself is in between or between, right? ¿Sí? Entonces, entre semana quiere decir weekdays. Entre semana. Ok.
Los llamamos los días entre semana. Por ejemplo, yo trabajo entre semana y descanso los fines de semana.
Trabajo entre semana. We got a feedback.
Sorry, it's me.
Yeah, you got two going there. If you just mute yourself while you get that fixed, that'll work. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
We got a little bit better. Okay.
Let me just tell you, I'm having trouble. I'm using my phone because my computer is not giving audio. Is anybody else having audio trouble with the Zoom on a computer?
No.
Or is it just me?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
I'll just use the phone and I'll work on it later.
Yeah. You might want to, shut down the other one. Well, I don't know. Might not make a difference. Okay. We don't have the feedback now. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what to do.
Trabajo entre semana. I work on weekdays. Descanso los fines de semana. I rest on weekends.
Si quieres practicar un poco de español, cuéntame en los comentarios una actividad que haces entre semana. Si
una actividad que haces entre semana. Tell me something you do on weekdays. So now we've got a new little, and notice this is not a vocabulary word, it's a combo of words. And this is one thing we want to make sure we're always working on is that sometimes, well, really, often, most of the time, you cannot neatly always translate word for word because we sometimes have just word combinations that just are, that just work together. So weekday is always entre semana, okay? O los días entre semana. Bien, so that's how those little words hook together to have the meaning of weekdays, or maybe we might say in English even work days. Yeah, but weekdays more commonly. Vale, perfecto. Okay. Aquí. Vamos a empezar. We're going to start with some easy stuff, talking about plans. And we're going to work with an easy structure. And again, it is going to be a structure. It is going to be a word combo that we can shift and shimmy around super easily. This word combo is about talking about the future. And I believe, I sent you, ¿dónde está? I don't think I've got the thing up. I sent you a little video on el futuro, talking the future, right? There is a future tense. There is a formal future tense, that idea of will do something, okay? And in English, we say it with will, meaning it isn't happening now, but it's going to, we think. But in Spanish, while there is a formal future tense, and it looks like this, para que sepan, so you know, the future tense oddly enough, is built on the whole verb. We don't take off the AR. We don't take off the ER. We don't take off the IR. Que curioso. There are two tenses in Spanish that do that. This is one of them. Future tense packs these endings on. But oddly enough, when people talk with each other for fun, for just, not even for fun, just talk, conversaciones normales, in normal conversations, this is not used very much. In point of fact, hardly ever. Hardly ever, hardly ever. So this future.
Can I throw in a quick question?
See,
Maybe I just missed a week or something, but am I the only one who doesn't recognize having received any of this? Or maybe I somehow deleted a note. I don't know.
We did not get this set.
no, you
We
didn't get this set.
this page.
We didn't
No,
get this
this is
set.
just so that you can see what this looks like.
Oh, okay.
This is just so you see what it looks like. This is what future tense looks like. But oddly enough, that is not what most people use. So here is what we really do use to talk about the future when we have conversations. Okay. Future tense does exist in Spanish. It is used, but sometimes in more formal settings in newspaper writing, perhaps. It's used to talk, oddly enough, about probability, like to say somebody must be doing something. But, most of the time when you're chit-chatting with people, you want to use you want to talk the way most people do talk comfortably using future. And that's ir plus a plus infinitive, which is way easier to memorize than this. No? Yeah, way easier. So, A, it's way easier. B, it's what most people use. That's what you should do. Okay, fácil. So we need to have our ir, which means need to know the boy for yo, vas for tú, va, to talk about one person, is going to do something. Vamos, nosotros, la forma de nosotros. Van, la forma de ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, vale. So we conjugate that ir for whatever it needs to be. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van. Okay. Vais if you're in Spain, but we're not doing that flavor with the vosotros. A form of ir, a, that little word a needs to be there, but it's going to be brief and fleeting because, you connect it to the next word, infinitivo. And there is the activity that you will do. Okay. So the second verb, infinitivo, that does not get conjugated. All you need to know to talk about the future in Spanish in a comfortable way that everybody else uses is conjugating ir and then an a and the actual activity, which is the infinitive that you're going to do. Okay. So we had a little video about that. And if you want to take a look at that, you can go back and watch it again. But, the formal future tense is not something that people use very much in everyday chit chat with their friends, colleagues, coworkers, etc. They use this. So that's what we're going to use. And today, so that people all get to know each other, we're going to do it in a big group. In future, we'll break into some smaller groups so you get more opportunities to talk in some smaller groups. But today we're going to do the big groups so that people get comfortable with each other. So we're going to talk about what people will be doing. ¿Sí? Y vamos a seguir aquí a la segunda cosa, the second thing here. Cuando las temperaturas bajen, when the temperatures go down, because we're in that mode right now, right? Temps are starting to go down. Gracias a Dios. Thank you, God. Okay. Cuando las temperaturas bajen en septiembre u octubre, voy a. What am I going to do when the temps go down? Alguien
Can I
aquí.
ask you what
Sí.
the word bajen? When I looked it up, it seemed like it's related to the verb bajar, to
It-
lower. So how
Eso
do you
sí.
get to the E in there if it's a B-H-A-R?
¿Por qué es esta palabra bajen? ¿Por qué no es bajan? Isn't bajar an AR verb? Shouldn't that be bajan? But this is talking about when they go down and they're not really down yet. I'm not talking about a habit like every
Okay.
year I'm talking about when they finally do go down. And because that hasn't happened yet, that's why that word is bajen. It is a subjunctive.
Oh, okay.
It means this thing of going down, reducing, going down isn't really a fact yet. That's what that means. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. It's kind of hypothetical, yeah.
Yeah.
Cuando las temperaturas bajen en septiembre o octubre, voy a. What am I going to do? Crystal House. Oh, okay. Somebody have one they want to volunteer?
Camino en el parque.
Voy a caminar. Okay, and we're going to phrase that as voy a caminar.
Voy a caminar.
Voy a caminar en el parque.
En el-
Cuando las temperaturas bajen, voy a
Vamos-
caminar.
Bajan. Va a ir caminar.
Voy a caminar. I'm going to walk. Okay, vale. Alguien más. Alguien más.
Voy a regresar al Scottsdale.
Voy a regresar a Scottsdale. I'm going to come back to Scottsdale. Eso es. Muy bien, muy bien. Mariana.
Me voy a poner un abrigo porque estoy en Chicago.
Eso es, sí, 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 sí. Me voy a poner una chaqueta, un abrigo, sí. Sí, una chaqueta, sí.
Chaqueta, yes, sí.
Perfecto, perfecto. I'm going to put on a coat, jacket of some kind. Bueno, sí, Kathleen.
Sacar mis suéteres del almacenamiento.
Del armario, sí, voy a sacar, sí, los suéteres. I'm going to take out my sweaters. Yeah, get out the fall wardrobe, right? Voy a sacar los suéteres del armario. Sí. Bien, perfecto. Algo más, algo más.
Voy a pasar mucho tiempo afuera.
Muy bien. Voy a pasar mucho tiempo afuera. Sí, Claudia, tienes.
Y yo voy a jugar afuera con mis hijos.
Muy bien, perfecto, sí. Cuando bajen las temperaturas, voy a levantarme por la mañana un poquito más tarde. ¿Sí? No voy a levantarme a las 4:30 de la mañana para montar en bicicleta y todo eso. Ok, bien. Bueno, algo más, algo más.
Voy a plantar mis flores en mi jardín.
Eso, sí. Perfecto, perfecto. Bueno, algo más. Carrie, ¿tienes algo? Oh, and you're on mute, Carrie.
Okay, try that. So I'm not sure I have it. Maybe it's going to be voy a hacer biciclismo más, or is it just voy a biciclimo más?
Are you talking about biking?
Yes.
Voy a montar en bici.
Oh, montar. Okay.
Voy a montar, voy a andar en bici. There are different ways of saying biking, but usually it's voy a andar en bici, voy a montar en bici. Más o menos, ¿sí? Bien.
What do those two verbs mean? Andar, I don't recognize
Andar
that.
is walk, but it can be used kind of generically as in just going via some kind of vehicle. Yeah. You like
Okay.
scooter. So sometimes used when people are talking about a scooter or even skates or
Is that
bikes.
ANDAR?
ANDAR, andar, voy a andar, voy a andar. And so when we say that, notice, conectamos las palabras. We connect the words. When you get a voy a andar, nobody's going to pause between those three words. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that sound is going to kind of be like the thread that you pull out from the sweater, and it won't unravel though. So voy a andar, voy a andar. So the
Muy bien.
will get strung out a little bit longer, but nobody will really pause between those. Voy a andar. Bien.
Okay.
Excelente.
Me voy a comer afuera.
Ok. Sí, bien. Bueno, sí, Claudia.
Pregunta, si yo quiero decir I want to go hiking, would I say voy a montar la montaña?
Oh, go hiking. Okay, not biking, but hiking.
Yeah.
Bien. Sí. There are different terms that are used for hiking. Voy a dar.
Duolingo likes it, hacer.
Yeah. Voy a hacer. Voy a hacer caminata. Voy voy a caminar en las montañas. Voy a hacer senderismo. Let me show you this one because this is actually kind of there are different ways to talk again about hiking. So let's show you a couple different, and let's show you the biking thing too. Yeah, people might say montar en bici o bicicleta. Sí, depends, right? They might say andar en bicicleta, right? Let's look at now hiking. Yeah, wow, almost the same word, but different by one letter. Sometimes you hear hacer senderismo. Senderismo is hiking. Sendero is a trail outdoors. Yeah. So it could be that. Voy a dar una caminata. Caminata is caminata comes from caminar, to walk. So caminata is again a hike, actually, a hike. And again, you might hear people use andar por los senderos, hiking on the walking on the trails, hiking on the trails, es lo mismo. So people will use different groups of words to express that idea of hiking. Dar un paseo. Dar un paseo. I like to call this as take a stroll, and it's really the same thing as pasear. Yeah, both of those are really talking about strolling, walking, and so any of those terms could be used for talking about hiking along. Yeah.
Duolingo tends to use hacer una excursión.
We could put that on the list too. Hacer una excursión. Excursión, and it sounds like excursion, and it is. Excursión can mean, a hiking trip. It can even mean a day trip. So people will use different terms, and it just kind of depends on what they feel like. Excursión is always going to kind of imply, I think, a little more effort or a longer period of time, right? Excursión. Bien. Okay.
Somewhere in that discussion of hike, I want to hear, like to hear what would be sort of the take a hike, and as in not go on a hike, but telling someone to take a hike.
Oh, how to tell somebody to get lost? See, yeah.
It might not be very nice.
I'm
Boy,
thinking Toma isn't quite going to work here.
Well, that's very
for the verb.
colloquial, isn't it? That's very colloquial. There is a very colloquial use of hike, yeah. And colloquialismos, colloquialisms. If you tell somebody take a hike, and you don't say it with a smile on your face, yeah. You might say it with a snicker, but not maybe a friendly smile. Yeah. What might somebody say? Vete is, just get out. Right? Yeah. Go away, see. Lárgate, go away. Yeah, yeah. Different ways to say that too. But
so I guess that doesn't
not the
translate
friendly
real
kind.
well.
Yeah, it doesn't translate well. Yeah. And those colloquialisms never do. Okay. So that's how we kind of have to take them word by word. Claudia, did you have something else before we got off a little bit on the or no? No. Okay. Bien.
I had
Siguiente.
one question, Marilyn, real quick.
Sí,
I'm a
dime.
little confused about the use of dar, which I think of as mean to give.
It does mean to give. Dar is a very special verb because, yes, it means to give, but it is plugged into lots of these word combinations or colloquial phrases. Okay. And then it does not translate well as dar, as give.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
know that.
But you'll hear people saying things like, damos la vuelta, turn. Vamos a dar una vuelta. We're going to take a turn like around the block, which will mean like a super short scroll. And dar una vuelta is just going out on a run and coming back. So that means it's fast.
Okay.
You would not use dar una vuelta for taking a hike because a hike is kind of long usually, yeah. But if you're just going around the block with the dog, dar una vuelta works, yeah. That is used with lots of combinations to convey many different things. People even take dar, and this will sound like an extreme to you, but it's not really an extreme, it's usual. They'll use dar like this, Terry. Eso me da nervios. That gives me nerves. Okay. And what they're saying is that thing makes me, yeah, see? Bien. So dar is, it's a class all by itself. But of course, as most basic, yeah. But do know we combine dar with lots of different words to convey special meanings. And again, colloquialismos, they're colloquialisms, and you just kind of have to use, listen, hear how they're used in context, example by example. Okay. Bueno, vale. Siguiente. 333. Creo que vamos I think we're gonna, and now we're talking about, again, futuro, predictable future. Yeah, we're not talking about next year. We're talking about the next few weeks, or the next week, or the next hour, maybe, depende. Sí, creo que vamos a boom, 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 boom en esta clase. So all you're plugging in is infinitivo. You're just plugging in a plain old infinitive. Una idea aquí. Creo que vamos a
hablar más español en esta clase.
Creo que vamos a hablar más español en esta clase. Perfecto, muy bien. ¿Hay otro ejemplo?
Creo que vamos a aprender mucho en esta clase.
Muy bien, sí, fantástico. Creo que vamos a
aprender.
Perdón.
Vamos a aprender la diferencia entre pronombres directos y pronombres indirectos.
Indirectos. Ay, sí, muy difícil. Vamos a aprender la diferencia o las diferencias entre pronombres directos e indirectos. Bien, vale, bueno.
Creo que vamos a aprender cómo hablar mejor con los otros estudiantes en esta clase.
Muy bien, sí, eso es. Me gusta mucho, sí. Hay otra idea. Bueno, sí, Sherry.
Creo que visitar a mis hijos más more often.
Oh, creo, I did not catch your verb in there. Creo que vamos a
Visitar mis hijos más.
Ok, con más frecuencia, más a menudo, sí. O simplemente más. Voy a visitar a mis nietos más. Vamos a visitar a, and then we plug in the name of the person. That's another little thing where we need that little word a again, right? The a personal, the personal a, when you visit a person, voy a visitar a mis vecinos, visitar a mis nietos, vamos a visitar a mis hijos, lo que sea, whatever it might be. Bien, creo que vamos a divertirnos mucho en esta clase. Creo que vamos a
Visitar a México con mi clase.
Es todo un proyecto. Wow, that's a real project. Es todo un proyecto. Ok. Muy bien. Bueno, ahora sí, siguiente. Durante el otoño. These are all like we're projecting into the future, like you would talk with your friends. Durante el otoño, mi familia va. Pero es mi familia va. Mi familia va. Kathleen.
Ok, durante el otoño mi familia va a mirar fútbol americano.
Ok, bien. Excelente. Bueno, hay otra idea. Sí, Mariana.
Durante el Antonio, mi familia va a viajar a Mundo Disney con mis nietos.
El mundo Disney. En Florida.
Sí, sí.
En Florida, sí. Sí, es muy interesante para los niños especialmente, ¿sí? Trish, sí. ¿Qué quieres decir?
Durante el otoño, mi familia va a Maine para ver los colores cambiantes en las hojas.
Sí, el cambio de color, el cambio de color en las hojas de los árboles. Sí, qué buena idea. Sí, muy bonito, muy bonito.
Is it just cambio de la color or los colores? Did I say it incorrectly?
Cambio,
Either or.
No
Okay.
importa, da igual. About the same, da igual.
Okay.
Sí.
Gracias.
Sí, Diana.
Durante el otoño, mi familia va a rastrillar las hojas. Rastrillar. Rake. Rastrillar.
Oh, sí. Eso, sí. Sí, vamos a quitar las hojas del jardín, del césped. Sí. Yeah, break them up, see? Get them out.
That was the word they gave me for rake. That is not the word for rake.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's just the idea. I'm sorry, I should get my page up here. A lot of times it's just the idea of getting them out. So that will be quite often, however that is that you're getting them out, whether it's a blower, or raking it up. Sí. Eso, bien. Durante el otoño mi familia va sí, ¿qué más?
Durante el otoño, mi familia va a pescar en el norte de Arizona.
Muy bien, sí, excelente, sí. Durante el otoño mi familia va a celebrar va a celebrar el cumpleaños de mi hija en otoño porque ella tiene cumpleaños en el otoño. Bueno, hay otra idea, pero fíjense, please notice, everybody notice how we changed from en número 2, I'm going to, 2, vamos a, we're going to, aquí, mi familia va a, my family is going to, and the only thing that is changing is that voy, vas, va, vamos, va. See, we always use an infinitive after that. ¿Hay otra idea con mi familia va a o no? O
Pat,
siguiente.
what was your verb? Pat, you said you're going to go to the northern Arizona, but what was the verb?
Pescar, to fish.
Pescar.
Oh.
Yeah. Peces, fish, yeah. Pescar, sí. And you'll notice always be on the lookout for this. Whenever I give you little videos to watch over the coming weeks, always be on the lookout for these little words that connect back to other words you know, where sometimes you may not know the word, but you can guess at what it means. Pescado is the fish that we eat on our plate. Yeah, pescado. But the verb for fishing is pescar, which is largely derived from that word. Well, we do the same thing. Yeah,
Sure.
Go fishing in English, pero fish.
Right.
See, pescado, pescar, to fish. Okay, vale, perfecto. Okay, aquí. Siguiente. Mañana voy a llamar a mi hermana que vive en Michigan. Mañana voy a llamar a mi hermana. ¿Qué van a hacer ustedes?
Can you say, okay, mañana voy a ir a Payson por caminar en los, I was going to say hiking. We used all those words for hiking. Paseo is stroll.
Para pasear, sí, para caminar en las montañas. Make it really easy. You're walking in the mountains, right? Para caminar o para andar en las montañas, ¿ya? Caminar, andar, equivalente. So andar and caminar both mean walk. So, sí. Voy a hacer senderismo. I'm going to go hiking.
Voy a
Eso.
hacer, not voy a ir.
Voy a ir a hacer senderismo. Voy a ir a hacer senderismo. I'm going to go hiking. I know.
Two infinitives together.
But I would cut out the ir because that makes it more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay.
Voy a hacer senderismo. Más fácil. Less complicated. Fewer moving parts. Yeah.
Okay.
Voy a hacer senderismo. Empiecen, sí. ¿Hay colores de las hojas hoy? ¿Empiezan ahora? ¿Hay colores? No sé. Quizás es temprano. Maybe it's early. Mañana voy a. Hay otras ideas. Mañana voy a. Bueno, sí, Jan.
Mañana voy a asistir mi grupo de discusión de libros.
Un club de libros.
Sí.
Asistes a un club de libros. Es buena idea, sí, me gusta mucho. Jan, todo el mundo en el grupo, los miembros del grupo, todos leen el mismo libro o leen libros, varios libros, diferentes libros.
Leen un libro.
Un libro.
Todos
Y después tienen conversaciones
Sí,
del libro. Ok, me gusta. Es buena idea. Bueno, otra idea. Otra
Okay.
idea. Bueno,
Okay.
Claudia y entonces Diana, ¿sí?
Ok. Mañana voy a ayudar a mi hijo, ¿cómo se dice? Menor en su clase de español.
En su clase de español. Qué fantástico. Doble práctica, práctica. Perfecto. Perfecto. Ok, Diana y entonces Sherry, ¿sí?
Mañana voy a volunteer en el museo.
¿Qué museo?
I'm gonna volunteer. Qué interesante. La mayoría, por la mayoría, por lo general, se dice voy a trabajar de voluntaria, if you're a lady. Voy a trabajar de voluntario, if you're a man. Trabajar de voluntario, ¿sí? O voy a ser voluntario, ¿sí?
¿Te puedes ponerlo en la computadora voluntaria? ¿Cómo se escribe voluntaria?
Sí, es casi como el inglés. A ver.
¿Qué museo, Sherry?
Musical Instrument Museum.
Es buen museo, es un museo muy interesante.
Sí, en verdad. Sí, me gusta este museo mucho.
Voluntario, voy a trabajar de voluntario. Por lo general se dice así, sí, voluntario. Sí, no creo que haya un verbo como una palabra para decir to volunteer en inglés, es trabajar de voluntario, por lo general. O se puede decir soy voluntario, por ejemplo, en la clase de mi hijo, por ejemplo. Hay muchas madres que trabajan de voluntaria, sí, en la clase. En las clases es muy común tener voluntarios o voluntarias, si son todas madres, en las clases. Muy común. Para que puedan ayudar a la maestra, para que puedan organizar a los niños en la clase. Hay mucho trabajo, especialmente en la primaria, Bueno, a ver, hay otra idea, entonces que mañana voy. Sí, Diana.
Mañana voy a pintar una habitación en mi casa.
Es mucho trabajo.
Sí.
Es mucho trabajo. Yo debo hacer eso. Sí, Trish.
Mañana voy a conseguir una pedicura.
Qué divertido, qué divertido. ¿Y Carrie?
Mañana voy a cocinar sopa de calabaza.
Sopa de calabaza. Muy bien.
Calabazas para mi jardín.
¿Es de tu jardín?
Sí.
¡Wow! Impresionante. Eso sí es impresionante. Muy bien. Bueno, siguiente. Este fin de semana. Now we're gonna. Perdón, Mark.
Mañana voy a esperar por el técnico a reparar nuestro horno.
El horno, oven. Y, sí, y mañana voy a esperar al técnico que va al técnico que va a reparar el aire acondicionado.
Oh,
Pero, pero el aire acondicionado está en el apartamento de un amigo mío, ¿sí? Ellos son snowbirds y ahora viven en como Wyoming. Viven en los bosques, en las montañas de Wyoming y el aire acondicionado dejó de funcionar y ellos recibieron noticias de SRP que hay algún problema con la electricidad, ¿sí? Está consumiendo, el apartamento está consumiendo un montón de electricidad. Así que hay problemas con el aire acondicionado, ¿sí? Aire acondicionado, perdón. Y no me gusta esperar a los técnicos, pero así es. Bueno. Bueno, siguiente. El fin de. Here's a little brief one. Not entre semana, weekday, pero fin de. Trish. Oh, perdón, Trish, you're on mute.
Okay. Este fin de voy a tener mis nietas se queden en mi casa.
Interesante, sí. ¿Cuántos años tienen tus nietos?
Estos nietos tienen 2 y 4.
Oh, 2 y 4 son muy, muy pequeños. Wow, así que es trabajo. Vas a trabajar.
5 en 2 meses. So.
Sí. Ok.
Sí.
Muy bien. Este fin de semana voy a
conocer a los padres de Eric. Eric es el novio de mi hija.
Ok.
Y
bien.
su familia visitar a Minnesota.
¿Y los padres no viven en Minnesota?
No, Boston.
Oh, vienen de muy lejos.
Sí.
Ok. Es un viaje, es gran viaje
Espero
para ellos.
que me gustan. Espero.
Ok. Bueno, algo más para fin de. Marcos.
Este fin de voy a ir al concert de música de ABBA.
ABBA. ¿Dónde? Aquí tenemos algo interesante. ¿Dónde es el concierto? Where is the concert?
En Scottsdale. Let me think where.
¿El concierto es en Talking Stick, o?
No. Now you're making me wonder, where am I going? Scottsdale Arts. El
centro para las artes, sí. Muy bien.
Este fin de semana voy a la abierta de Museo de Art in Scottsdale.
An opening?
Art opening. Abierto.
Otra idea de vocabulario. Bueno, sí. If it's an opening, is this a first time thing? Sí.
Siempre años.
Okay.
One time each year. Uno tiempo.
Okay. Es un evento y es la primera vez, and it's the first time.
Yes.
¿Verdad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you talk about an opening, if what you mean is a first time thing, or let's say, oh, you might call it a debut. Yeah.
Okay.
But we call it an opening, right? Meaning it's the very first time. There's an excellent word for that.
What it is, it's,
Estreno.
new exhibits. It's new exhibits at the museum, and they're having an event to present the new art.
Okay. Podemos decir, we can say, voy a asistir, I'm going to attend, voy a asistir al estreno de la exhibición de arte. Voy a asistir al estreno. Estreno is an opening, a first time thing. And it can be the first time a show is on. It can even be the first time you wear a special outfit. Oddly enough, this word estreno does not have a super great single word translation in English, but that's what it means. An opening, a first time event, a first time of doing anything is estreno. And it has a verb form. And the verb form is an AR verb, estrenar. So I could express this as voy a asistir al estreno. I'm going to attend the opening. Or I could kind of twist it around a little bit, and I could talk about the exhibit is going to debut. It's going to have its first opening. The exhibit is going to open. And I can change it a little bit this way. La exhibición de arte va a estrenar este fin de. La exhibición de arte va a estrenar. It's going to open. And if you say va a estrenar, everybody knows it's going to be the first time that's happening. Y eso es. Estrenar, el verbo, y estreno, el sustantivo, the noun, son palabras muy útiles. Those are super useful words when we want to talk about a first time thing. Eso es, sí. Ok, vale. Algo más para fin de. Sí, Mariana.
Okay. Este fin de semana también voy a asistir un concierto de música, pero es afuera.
Afuera, sí, al aire libre.
Sí, sí.
Open air, al aire libre.
Sí.
Muy bien, muy bien. Y se puede, you can. Ahora se puede, sí. Diana.
Este fin de voy a cenar con mis amigos en un restaurante mexicano.
Excelente. Excelente. Bueno, a ver. Carrie.
Este fin de voy a comprar manzanas en mi huerto favorito.
Huerto is garden where you grow veggies and fruits.
Well, or orchard. I was trying to look up orchard.
Oh, sí, eso también, sí. Sí.
Huerto.
Ok.
Huerto.
Sí, sí, sí. Manzana, sí, porque estás en el norte. Tú estás en el norte, ¿no?
Sí.
Sí, eso es. Muy bien. Fantástico, fantástico. A ver, bueno, ¿hay más para el fin de, o no? ¿O siguiente?
Este fin de semana voy a la casa de mis amigos para comer la cena.
Excelente. Una invitación a cenar. Siempre es buena cosa. Muy bien. Bueno. Kathleen.
Ok, este fin de voy a hacer las compras al mercado agrícola. correcto?
Ok. Muy bien. Sí, sí, sí. Excelente.
I didn't get that.
I didn't either.
Otra vez, otra vez.
Voy a hacer las compras al mercado agrícola.
Agrícola, like a farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
Mercado agrícola. Agrícola.
Oh,
Agrícola es como agriculture, ¿no? Agrícola, ¿sí? Un mercado, ¿sí? Un mercado de agricultores would be a market of farmers, but you can shorten that up, un mercado agrícola, ¿sí? Farmers type market, sí.
I just heard cola. And I thought, what is she doing? You're going to go buy Coke.
Muy bien.
Or a Q. A crew. How do you spell that?
Agrícola. Sí. Mentito. A ver. Vamos. Agrícola. Agrícola could be agrícola, depende, ¿sí? Yeah, it looks like agriculture, just kind of changed, right? A lot of those connections are, come from Latin words. If you know more highfalutin, higher level reading words in English that connect to a lot of vocabulary that will start to sound pretty logical in Spanish because it comes from a similar type Latin root. Bien, vale. Ok. Bueno, siguiente, dentro de poco, de poco, in a little while, within a little bit, literally, ¿sí? Dentro de poco, mis amigos dentro de poco, mis amigos van a volver a Arizona, desde el norte, sí. Desde Illinois, desde Wyoming, desde Minnesota, desde Wisconsin, donde sea, wherever it may be. Dentro de poco, ¿ok? Mis amigos van a, and notice now we've switched it to van a, they're going to.
Dentro de poco, mis amigos van a llegar a nuestra casa.
Bien. Excelente. Trish.
Dentro de poco, mis amigos van al museo a aprender sobre arte contemporáneo. I can't say that word.
Es una larga palabra. Contemporánea.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, no. Repita. Try it. Yeah, trátalo. Contemporánea. Contemporánea. ¿Sí?
Contemporánea. Okay.
Contemporánea. Contemporánea. Contemporary. El arte contemporaria. And it is arte contemporaria because arte is really a feminine word, but we have to start it with el arte. It's just one of the odd things, the words it starts with a. El arte contemporánea. Bien, fantástico. Ok. ¿Qué más podemos decir sobre mis amigos? Mis amigos van a...
Mis amigos van a comprar un nuevo coche.
Ah,
Coche.
coche, carro,
Coche,
auto, son lo mismo. Es lo mismo, sí. Excelente. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Hay algo más? Mis amigos van a. Ah, sí, Sherry. Oh, and you're on mute.
Thank you. Dentro de pocos, mis amigos van a las montañas de Canadá.
Ah, sí, de Canadá. Bien. Ok. ¿Algo más?
¿Cómo se dice Rockies? Canadian Rockies.
Ah, las montañas rocosas.
Rocosos.
Las montañas rocosas del Canadá. A las montañas rocosas, sí. Rocosas, sí. Rocky. Bueno, bien. Okay. Pueden ver, you can see what we usually use, what the normal guy on the street or even the super educated guy on the street is going to use to talk about what's coming up soon is ir a infinitive. Ir a infinitive. Now, I will send you, because I didn't already, I will send you this little puppy about futuro. You may hear it once in a while, but really only when people are, I think in the video, they termed it as once you talk about distance and less certainty. This is where this feeds in more. You may hear people use it, but just know that when we talk about what we're going to do soon, which is usually what we do, it won't be this. But this is what the future does look like as a tense, a separate tense. It's just not what most people use in everyday conversation. And in English, I think actually it's not really that much different. You are much more likely to say, I'm going to do some shopping today rather than I will shop today. Yeah. If we're just chit-chatting, we tend to use will or certainly shall. Shall sounds very formal, yeah? To us, to those of us who are U.S. folk. Perhaps not to Brits. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask my British friends that someday. But that is how that future tense will look. But it has a more distant kind of, so once we start talking about things that will happen a year from now, that future could happen. Yeah.
What will you be when you grow up? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's way out there. Also, do know that this future is used to talk about probability. That future tense that's not ir a, that's the formal conjugation. It's often used to talk about probability. And in English, we convey that idea with must be. John isn't here. Oh, he must be at work. Okay. So quite often, future in Spanish isn't really used for future. Quite often, it implies somebody must be doing something. Okay. So these kind of examples, see, ¿dónde está la banda? Estarán por llegar. They must be about to arrive. And so it's kind of a more iffy kind of feel. Yeah. Future, but we must be, but we don't really know for sure. That's where the probabilidad, the probability comes in. ¿Qué pasa con Diego? Tendrá problemas con su carro. He must be having trouble with his car. So if somebody says tendrá problemas con su carro, they're probably not saying, well, he will be having troubles with his car. They're guessing, they're wondering, ooh, I think this probably is happening, but we don't really know for sure. And so that's kind of an unusual thing about future tense in Spanish. So, when you are just chit-chatting about usual stuff, just as we use going to do, Well, they do as well. So that's what we're going to use most of the time to talk about future. Futuro, bien?
I have a question. Sorry.
Sí, sí, dime.
So is there a way, so if we don't want to do the conjugation, is there a way to say we might do this? Like, is there, how in English we have, we might, we might.
Future would has that, future tense does have that meaning behind it.
Okay.
Iremos a la playa. Well, we're probably going to go to the beach.
Okay.
But if you say, vamos a ir a la playa, we're going to go to the beach, people think, ooh, pretty soon.
Okay.
In 5 hours, tomorrow, over the weekend. Yeah.
Could we say something like, is it probablemente?
Sí se puede, sí se puede. You can.
Start with that, and then so we don't have to do the conjugation. I'm trying to get out
so you don't have to do the. Sí. Es probable, sí. But then, there are different vehicles. So, what's a vehicle that people may use to say probably when they're not really sure?
Maybe.
That is subjunctive.
Okay. Eso es.
Más o menos.
Let's say, well, probably not even más o menos. Yeah. What people generally will do, what they're likely to do. If you want to inject this idea of probably, okay. Probably becomes a little bit difficult. Probably can be used by future, but you say, Carrie says, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do that conjunction. I don't want to do that future, futuro. Okay. Okay. There's another way that people may express this in Spanish, and this is, pretty common. It'll be something like this. Es probable. It's probable, right? But we're going to say it's probable that this will happen, right?
Okay.
But if I say that it's probable that this will happen, do I really know? Am I 100% behind that? Not 100%. Not for sure. Es probable is always going to trigger something special when I have this word que. Es probable que
Can you share your screen?
Que vayamos, there is a subjunctive, a la playa. Es probable que vayamos a la playa. Es probable. Oh, perdón. Sí, yeah.
Did you write that? Could you share your screen if you wrote it?
Yeah. See, yeah. Can you see it on the screen? See?
No.
No. Wow. ¿Qué pasó? Momentito. Ahora sí, no? Now you can, right? See? Okay. If you want to say this idea of probably, so I guess here's where we're going to have to not end this idea, but tag on an idea. There is no easy way to get away from the conundrum, the problem of conjugation. Okay, so it's just a different kind of conjugation, all right? Es probable que vayamos a la playa. And this vayamos comes from ir. It's probable that we're going to the beach. But here is what happens. This structure here, es probable que, indicates something that could happen. Yeah, it's a possibility, but it is not 100% for sure. And so that vayamos thing is always something that connects to the not for sure. If the action of going to the beach is not 100% sure, it has to go into that murky world of subjunctive, which strikes terror into almost everybody's heart because we don't have a good thing for that in English that is consistent. Okay.
What
That
about
is
va-
consistent.
vaya con Dios?
Vaya con Dios is and it's connected to that idea of vayamos. It's connected to that because there's a very short leash connecting chain between the idea of commands and subjunctive. They are kind of in the same la la land. And why are they in la la land? Because a command means, well, when somebody says go with God, well, that's very formal. We don't, we might say God bless. Okay. We might say take care. We might say drive safely. Be careful out there. Those are all commands. Now, you don't think I'm going to give them a command. Nobody thinks that. You just say it. Yeah. Nobody thinks, I think I'll use a command. No, we don't do that. We just say it, right? But they're connected. Yeah. And that vaya con Dios is actually a command, go with God. But commands are not happening right now for sure. You tell somebody, it's a classic thing. You tell your children to clean the bathroom. And 90% of the time, well, God bless you if you don't live in a household like that, but I do. Yeah, is that going to happen? I don't know. Toss a coin. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Yeah. So commands don't mean the action is really for sure happening right now. It means somebody's telling you to do it, but it's not going on right now. And in a similar vein, subjunctive means it's not going on right now. But it's this first part of that sentence, es probable que. Yeah, and that tells you it's probable, but that doesn't mean 100%. And that's why that happens. Okay.
Marilyn, in this context, and I probably ought to know this, but what would be the phrase just for maybe, and could that be used as like a short answer or a short statement, maybe, or can it also be used like maybe vayamos a la playa?
Can I do a quick workaround to save myself the anxiety? Yes, often you can. So these are always great things to know. You might just want to say, well, maybe. And we do the same thing in English. So they're now, okay, the flip side of that is that there are more than one ways to say maybe. You might say tal vez to say maybe, and just leave it hanging there. I mean, if they know what you're talking about, that works. Oh, quizás. Oh, it booted me out of my keyboard. Momentito. Quizás, which is sometimes it drops the S off the end because people just feel like it. There's no reason for it. They just feel like it, okay? It might be expressed as quizás or quizá. Tal vez. Quizás, quizá, maybe. And yes, people might tag on a verb to that. That verb might still be that subjunctive. And if it is, that means they're really on the fence. They're indicating anytime people use subjunctive, there's a real measure of uncertainty as to whether or not that thing will happen. It is a job that the subjunctive has in Spanish, and we just don't have a good, consistent thing for that in English. Eso es. Okay. Bien?
Bien.
¿Sí?
Bien.
Bien.
Sí.
Okay.
Bien.
Vamos a ver. Vamos a seguir. Let's go ahead. I was going to do some number thing, but we're going to leave that for another day because I don't want to leave without doing this. We're going to talk a little bit about ser, estar again, because it is a troublesome topic. So I'm going to preview something here with you guys. This is something I would like you to maybe listen to a couple of times. But I want to move on and do just a little bit of ser and estar and why ser and estar are problematic, and how it becomes more problematic is that sometimes we might use the exact same word with either ser or estar. And I'm going to give you a little Google slide of some things where you can fill in the blank and practice. But we're going to listen to at least part of this video together. And they call them tricky adjectives because they might use ser or estar. Oh, let me just make sure that I've got my audio turned on with this. Sí. Funciona. It works. Okay. A ver.
¿Alguna vez te has equivocado con los adjetivos en español?
Because ser and estar is always that terrible, right? The two to be's. Yeah. Okay.
En este video vas a aprender 7 adjetivos que son un poco confusos.
¿Confusos? Ya estoy confundido, ¿eh?
¿Están listos? Vamos.
Hey, Pau, ¿qué estás leyendo?
Un libro que explora la intersección entre el plagio, la democratización del conocimiento de ChatGPT en esta época postmoderna.
Wow, parece confuso.
Seems confusing. Okay, they're going to show you a little difference between confuso and confundido. And you'll get some slides to work on that for next week. Okay, a ver.
Entiendo que te puedas sentir confundido. Yo no me siento tan confundida.
No me siento. No estoy. She could have subbed in for that instead of me siento. No estoy tan confundida. Confuso. Es confuso. It's confusing. Pero estoy confundida. Estoy confundida because I'm a woman, but estoy confundido if I'm speaking as a man. See, I'm confused. Okay.
He escuchado a algunas personas decir estoy confuso.
Y estoy confuso.
Cuando en realidad quieren decir estoy confundido.
If you want to say you're confused, meaning you feel in that state of your brain is, a big tangle of yarn or foggy, you need to use that with estar because it is indicating a temporary state condition that your brain's in, that your thought process is in. And you're not always a wandering, full dementia. No. You just feel confused. Estoy confundido. But confuso, we can't say estoy confuso. We can't really do that. It's got to be estoy confundido.
Confuso es para expresar que algo causa confusión.
So confuso is a term that means something causes confusion. Okay, and you're going to get a little slide set too, where you're going to plug in your own examples next week. Bien? Okay, vale.
Mientras que confundido es cuando quieres expresar que sientes confusión.
So confundido, or if you're a female talking about yourself, confundida, talks about confused, in the state of, my brain is messed up. Yeah, which is not the same thing as confuso. Okay. Bueno. Adena, and you'll see how this will connect together. It'll start to make sense. You may want to watch it a couple of times, the second time at home. Yeah.
No lo comas.
Oh, there's a command. No lo comas. Don't eat it.
Es para el postre. ¿Qué te pasa?
Es que el tema del yogurt es muy sensible para mí. Sensible, sensitivo, sensato.
Oh, this one is a real twister. Because this one is kind of one of what they like to call a false friends or the false cognates. Sensible sure sounds like sensible, but it does not mean that.
La palabra sensible en español es un falso amigo
It's a
con
false
el
friend.
inglés. Esta palabra significa que percibes muchos estímulos sensoriales o emocionales. La traducción de sensible sería sensato.
If you really mean sensible, sensible, you cannot use sensible. Sensible is sensitive. Sensitive, but sensible, see? So we want to put that aside. Sensato.
Y la palabra sensitivo existe, aunque no es muy común que la escuches.
So, sensitivo does exist as a word, but you don't hear people using it very much.
Ah, Pau, ¿qué tal tu viaje? Berlín, ¿no? ¿Cómo fue? ¿Gracioso?
No sé si gracioso. Divertido.
Oh, there is a fine line of difference. We've got a new word pair now, a new word pair. Gracioso versus divertido. Funny, but funny might be used in different contexts. Funny as in, ha ha, makes me laugh. Or, well, really, divertido is more like fun, entertaining, enjoyable. Nobody says that joke is really enjoyable. Nobody's going to say that. Yeah, the joke is funny. The situation is funny. Somebody falling on their behind on the ice, if you're not the person falling on the ice, is funny. Not funny if it's you, right? A pratfall in a comedy movie is funny, but fun, enjoyable, a good time is divertido.
¿Verdad? ¿Me explicas la diferencia?
Al rato. ¿Qué te hace reír? Eso es gracioso.
What makes you laugh? That is what we call gracioso. Something that makes you laugh is gracioso. Gracioso is funny. Okay?
O chistoso, diría.
Chistoso is another way of saying that. Chistoso means the same thing. Synonym, same meaning, same idea.
En México.
But divertido
La
is different.
diferencia entre chistoso y divertido es que esta palabra gracioso, chistoso, está diciendo específicamente que te hizo reír.
So the gracioso or chistoso means something made you laugh. Okay? But divertido does not have that meaning. Divertido means fun, as in enjoyable.
Mientras que divertido es para expresar que pasaste un buen rato, aunque no hayas reído.
You had a good, divertido, you had a good time, but you weren't laughing necessarily. You just had a good time.
Sabemos que la pronunciación en español no siempre es fácil, pero no se preocupen porque
I think we've got a paid, yes, we have a paid ad. We're going to skip through.
Corri, qué aburrido eres.
Oh, sí, momentito.
La verdad es que no.
Want to play ping pong? We're moving on to a new set of words. Want to play ping pong? Not really. La verdad es que no.
Ay, Corri, qué aburrido eres.
How boring you are. And here's another word, aburrido, we can use with either ser or estar, but it changes the meaning of that word pretty drastically. Ser with aburrido means it is boring. It makes you yawn. Instead of make you laugh like chistoso, aburrido, it makes you yawn.
Marilyn?
No soy.
Sí.
Real quick, do the endings of those words change masculine and feminine? Aburrido,
Sí.
gracioso, chetizo. That's all. Okay, thank you.
It will, depending on what it is describing. She says to the guy, eres aburrido, you are boring. If you're talking to a gal and you say, well, you're such a bore, eres aburrida. I'm talking about my old econ professor, fue aburrido. Okay? Or ella Es aburrida. She is boring. Boring. That person makes me yawn. That person is no fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Estoy un poco aburrido.
But now here's the I am bored. My state is, I don't find this, it's how I feel. Estar with aburrido is how I feel. Yeah. Estar with the description is how I feel. Estoy aburrido. I am bored.
Esto es un
Take
claro
that.
ejemplo de por qué
Yeah.
es importante que sepas la diferencia entre ser y estar. Hicimos un episodio acerca de esto y está en la descripción del episodio. En este caso, decir soy aburrido, estás diciendo que eres una persona muy aburrida.
Yeah. Soy aburrida would, I am boring. I don't do anything. I'm just a blob. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's not really what you mean when you talk with somebody, right? You feel bored. Right. How you feel, how we feel and how, where you are. That's when we use the verb estar. Okay.
Mientras que estoy aburrido indica que te sientes aburrido.
Okay. And I'm going to stop it there so I can preview some things I'm going to have you do. You can watch the rest of it on your own. So here is what we will be doing, and I'll show you. It's going to, and I've got things to step you through everything here, but I want you to plug in some examples for next week. And this is going to be, it's going to use specific adjectives that are going to be sometimes using ser and sometimes using estar, right? Confuso is just a general thing. Confusing, confuso. And I give you an example. El horario de mi esposo siempre cambia. Es confuso. My husband's schedule always changes. It's confusing. It's confusing. His schedule isn't confused. His schedule doesn't feel anything. It just is a certain way. It is confusing. Confuso, right? But confundido, confused, no puedo, no puedo entender, perdón. I had a missing word. No puedo entender una película sin subtítulos. I can't understand a movie without subtitles. Estoy confundida. I'm confused, right? And that might be estoy confundido if you're a guy talking about yourself, right? Estoy confundido. But now, confundido, confused, indicates the way somebody feels. Well, mentally, yeah. So a feeling. So it's going to use estar. So you're going to plug in some examples. That's what you're going to be doing for the coming week. And they'll all be different. Okay. So you're going to plug in one example with each of those, one with confuso, one with confundido. You're going to be using sensible, which means sensitive. Yeah. Touchy. Yeah. Sensitive. Versus sensato, which is sensible. Okay. You're going to be using gracioso or chistoso, meaning funny, makes me, belly laugh. Okay. Versus divertido, which is just fun, enjoyable, having a good time kind of description, right? Aburrido with both ser and estar. We're going to have molesto, and you're going to need to watch the rest of this to get the molesto. Or molesta, it might have the feminine form, right? To say that something is bothersome, it is annoying, it is a pain in the butt, it is a drag. Es molesto, right? Right? Y mi ejemplo, la gente toca la bocina, beep, 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 en el carro, ¿no? Toca la bocina, honk the horn. ¿sí? Toca la bocina constantemente. Es molesto. La gente... I've got too many missing words in here. I was in a hurry, I guess. La gente que toca la bocina constantemente es molesta. People who honk their horn all the time are a drag, an annoyance. Okay? But estar with molesto or estar with molesta means to feel bothered, to feel annoyed. Okay? And I talk about a little workaround there. Y eso. Oh, harto. I think do they end with two or they end with, I can't remember if they end with harto or not. No, oh yeah, they have a different one, but we'll talk about that later. Harto. Yeah, see? Fed up with. And most of the time, you're going to use harto more. I'll underline it so that you get it. Most of the time, you're going to use harto with estar. Because usually when we say fed up, most of the time we're talking about the way we feel about something. See? And we use estoy harto de. I'm fed up with. But instead of using with, we use de with this particular phrase. So you're going to rewatch and watch really the whole of the video in its entirety and then come back with some ideas you plug in for this. See? Game? The other thing I'm going to have you do, because I always give you a video that talks about, I always give you a video that talks about just a story, telling a story. So you're going to get a video that has nothing to do with ser estar. It's just a story about something that happened. But as we used future this week, we're going to switch our focus from future or even talking about right now to talking about the past. Oh, perdón. Let me pop this in so you'll know what you're seeing. You're going to see a story. Es un cuento con Brenda. It's a story with Brenda. And this is pretty long. Wow, es de 22 minutos. This is your listening comprehension. It's a story. And the reason it's that long, her story really isn't, el cuento no es de 22 minutos. El cuento es de como 7 u 8 minutos. It's about a 7 or 8 minute story, but she steps you through a story in the past. So just as we talked about future, what we're going to talk about next week is going to be past. So what I want you to do with this is to listen. She's going to retell the story, and you're going to have a set of slides that will give you vocabulary from that video so that you've got, if there's some of those words that you're not too sure about, you're going to have that. And then she's going to step you through, could you figure out the past idea type verbs? Most of these are verbs. There are 1 or 2 in there that are not. And see if you can fill in the blanks from the story, because she's going to tell it more than once. Okay. And you're going to have a bunch of fill in the blanks with that story. See? Bien. So we're shifting from futuro, near future, chit chat, to describing something that happened in the past. Todo bien?
Todo bien.
See?
Gracias.
Bien?
So,
Vale.
so we're not going to hear Augustina tell us how to fly a plane?
Oh, perdón.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fun listening to Augustina tell us about all the physics about how planes fly. But then at the end, she said there were more videos dealing with flying and planes and whatnot.
Yes, there are some more. They have some videos from that series that are now behind a paywall. Mm-hmm. So the first one's a teaser, and sometimes they give you 2 teasers, and then they'll do like maybe 3 on a theme. I think the rest of those are behind paywall, and it's a monthly paywall. And it isn't quite fair for me to like buy the paywall and then just show you during class because that's kind of cheating them on their money, which I don't feel very good about. So yeah, but yeah, there are a few extras with that one, Agustina. Sí. Bien. Okay. Bien. So we're going to shift from futuro, future to past a little bit. You're going to do some of those confusing verb things, a little bit of ser, estar, and we will get to some number things. I know I promised Nora to do some more number stuff. See, we'll do a little bit more of that. See, la semana que viene, next week.
I can always do it on my own. It's okay.
We can do a little though. It's buena idea. It's really a good idea. Okay. Todo está bien. All good?
Sí.
Sí.
Perfecto, muy bien, muy bien. Excelente. Entonces, nos vemos entonces el miércoles. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, sí, a las 10. Bueno, if you have any ideas or requests, if you have topic requests, email me anytime. ¿Sí?
Yes.
Todo bien. Okay. Que tenga muy buen entre semana. Sí, have a good weekday. Sí, y nos vemos, sí, más tarde.